It's been a while. I actually filmed this several weeks ago. This was one of the very few times in a long time where I could sit down at my table and really make whatever I felt like. So I started a little experimental wall tile. I had sketched out several of these months ago. I have a really hard time sketching something out that I'm excited about and then coming back to that sketch later and still feeling motivated to actually make it. Even if it's just the next day, I'll feel really bored with it, so I've kind of learned to only sit and sketch right before I aim to make whatever beams its way from my brain into my sketchbook. If I wait too long, it's just lost in a pattern buffer forever. Inspiration molecules just floating out to space. At the other end of this, there's this point where if enough time passes and I can look back at an old sketch and my little inspiration molecules recoalesce and I'll be all, yeah, I remember you, because it just feels new again. So that's kind of where I was with this, and I thought I was going to make a whole bunch more of them, but surprise, the spark is already gone. Oh well. Maybe in another few months, right? Another annoying thing about the timeliness of inspiration is that because I recorded this video like 3 months ago, so much has happened with my work that this already feels kind of like irrelevant. I don't know that that's the right word, but since filming this, I tried a different clay body, a really rich red clay that I had a 5-pound sample bag of, and it felt like this exact thing that I needed, but I didn't know I needed. I've been using Laguna's B-Mix for years, so many years. It's a white stoneware and it's very reliable, and because it fires to a nice buff white, my glazes all show up pretty true to color and bright, especially the translucent ones. So I just always assumed, like, yeah, that's my clay body. That's what I want. Forever. Quick side note, if you don't know the history of B-Mix, there's an old correspondence on potters.org that I found when I was researching clay bodies in graduate school. It's dated late October from 2001. From someone going by the name of Snail Scott to a David Wilhite, and it says, I used to work for the guy who invented it, Martin Butt. When we sold it from our shop, we called it Butt Mix. When Martin sold the recipe to Laguna, I guess they thought it wasn't such a good name. Good thing it wasn't a brown clay, I guess. So now they call it B-Mix. That's right, you guys. B-Mix is Butt Mix. You heard it here first. Lost opportunity, Laguna. Anyway, so I threw some sample cup forms in the red clay and glazed these little woodland pine brush landscape scenes on them over the top of some white terracotta gelata. I've been doing all this watercoloring lately and wanted to try to bring some of that into my clay work somehow, and they came out great. Behold! So now I want to make my woodland mugs in this clay and see how that goes, and I kind of feel like I may never go back to Butt Mix ever again. Maybe. It's a little too soon to say that for sure, but I kind of just feel it in my bones. I also have this other clay body called Ironstone that fires out black, like black. I've tried black clay bodies before, but this one is very, very workable. I have to do some glaze testing first, though, because black clays are pretty notorious for destroying glazes. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes, though, so stay tuned. So yeah, just a few weeks was enough to make this tile feel really old. But I don't know, we'll see. Inspiration is so stupid. Not really, but you know. It is fitting I wouldn't get around to putting this out until well into the new year, though. Changing clay bodies and adding some 2D landscape elements to my work is probably the biggest and swiftest artistic change I've made in my work in many years. Probably ever. Right after grad school, which is 10 years ago now, holy crap, I made a switch from making mostly sculptural work that was still kind of functional to still sculptural work that was also meant to be very functional. And earlier than that, I was just completely sculptural, aside from the occasional mugs and bowls. But I've always worked in these sort of layered, nature-based textures, though, since I was but a wee undergrad. It's always been a sort of metaphor for constant changes of life, new layers rising up and growing out from old ones. Maybe a little obvious, a little cheesy, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes you gotta embrace the cheese. Life imitates art, art imitates life stuff. Life is layers, clay is formed in layers, so I'ma keep adding layers until I run out of clay. Or metaphors, whichever one happens first. Anyways, I'd love to say, hey, stay tuned, new videos coming every week, but I am an actual full-time artist, and making and editing videos takes a ton of time, and I just don't always have it, so I will do what I can. I would love to start making some of my income from YouTube, and I'd love for that to happen this year, but we'll see. I don't want to say like and subscribe in every video, but that does massively help creators with the algorithm. So, yeah, you know what to do. If you feel like it. I do suggest turning that little notification bell on just because I currently don't upload regularly, so it will just let you know when I do. That's all. I'll leave you alone, and you can watch me finish this tile. If you want to. You don't have to. Either way, I hope you have a lovely day or evening, and I'll see you soon.